Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. It brings us to the end of a busy couple of weeks, full of games at Molineux. This week in particular, hosting Liverpool twice in League and FA Cup action. My name is David Zapardi. Alongside me today to discuss that and much, much more, we've got Mr. Harry Gill. Harry, thanks for jumping back on the podcast. How you keeping, mate?
No problem, mate. Always good. Always happy to be here as usual, mate. You know that. But keeping well. Keeping
Good, good.
well.
I don't think we've had much of a chat since, it's probably been a few weeks since you've been back, but you did a nice little tour of the US, didn't you?
Yes, I did, mate. Yeah, I went to Orlando in January. I was a couple of weeks out in Disney and Universal, mate. It's been a long-term dream of mine to get out there. So, yeah, man, it's good.
First time in the States, or you've been there before?
No, I've never been. That was
Oh,
the
wow.
first time. It's crazy. Like, how they do things compared to us is just mental. And, like, that was the first long-haul flight as well, man. So, that was a whole thing as well. It was good, man. It was good. And I had a great time. And obviously, I started the vlogs out there as well, man. So,
Yeah, mate, I said to you before, to be fair, I'm well behind on them. I need to catch up on them, but the amount of content you got out there, I was like, fairs,
It was crazy, bro. Like, I wasn't expecting to do that many. Like,
yeah.
it was kind of just going to be like, see how they go. And then if I kind of was all right doing them out and about in the parks, then I'd carry on. And then managed to get, 13 days worth. So it was
That's
crazy.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I mean, not just in real life stuff, but with the football stuff. There's a couple of lads that I watch, and I think I wish I had the confidence just to walk around like talking to. I don't know. I do these, and I don't do like videos of my car and stuff. But I really struggle just walking around in public with a camera on. But I suppose in your case, there's a 99.99% chance you will never see any of those people ever again. So it doesn't really
That's
matter.
how I see it, mate. That's how I see it. Like, you do that with a lot of things, really. Like,
Yeah.
if you're being silly out and about, 99%. If you even do it at football, I'm not offering people out in when I get to away games. I'm never going to see them again, so you might as well. So,
Yeah, very true.
yeah, man,
Very true.
that's good. It's good.
Yeah, no, I've done. I haven't been for a few years now. I've done the States a few times. I've never been to Orlando. To be fair, I did New York and I did the West Coast. I think about 10 years ago. But yeah, the long haul flights. I mean, the one I did most recently. We will get onto the football in a minute. The one I did most recently was back from New York on the 23rd of December to land in the UK Christmas Eve morning.
Yeah.
But that was standard economy, and obviously it's a night flight, and you can't sleep. And I've got to fly back from Heathrow, and I thought, nah, I'm not doing this again. So
yeah.
I know it might sound a bit snobbish, but the next time I go long haul, I'm going to save up a little bit longer and try and get a better class seat, to be honest. So.
Yeah, man. I was the same. Going out there, you're buzzing to get out there, and you so like it's fine. You don't mind sitting in economy, but when you've done 2 weeks, you've been on your feet all that time, then you've got a 7.5 hour journey back.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone else is getting kip and you just can't get anything. So yeah. I was exactly the same.
No, man, I'm glad you had a good time anyway. But yeah, we'll jump on to what's been a really interesting week as a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, from the jubilation of Tuesday night to the frustration of Friday night, both under lights at Molineux. You've had a couple of weeks of really interesting matchups at Molineux, of course, the comeback against Arsenal, the win against Villa, and it brought us on to Tuesday, Harry, as well, where I think a lot of Wolves fans, because it was so close to that Villa game, there was that little bit of excitement going into this match against Liverpool. I think we all knew sort of going into this week, probably most of us would have prioritised Friday's fixture. But to get that win on Tuesday was amazing. But I mean, how did you feel going into it? We know Liverpool, are a good team. You know, they were going to always give us a difficult game, but their form had been picked up recently, and so it was always going to be a tough test.
Yeah, you play them any time of the year, you're always thinking that you're going to be second best in the game, to be honest. Like, it's the same with most of the teams that you play in and around that top six area, or the consistent top six teams that are in and around there. You always think it's going to be a tough game. I don't think I've, maybe once or twice since we've been back up, I've thought that we really had total control over that game. One of them was against Liverpool and we beat them 3-0 that time.
Yeah.
But like not many times. So you are instantly, you walk to the ground and you're like, oh well, it's probably going to be 3 or 4-0 Liverpool, or we're obviously going to lose. So, and especially this season, we've been absolutely turgid most weeks. So you instantly every game that we've been going through at the moment, it's been straight to thinking, oh, you're going to lose. And then the past couple of weeks, after the Arsenal home game, something kind of like flicks in your brain a tiny little bit, like, okay, we're not actually that bad
Yeah.
in certain areas. So you might be able to get a result against some of these teams. And we managed to get a draw at Arsenal, and then we beat the Villa, and then we obviously lost away. And then you come to Tuesday night, and you're still thinking the same things. But I was saying it to my brother. I was like, when the second half started, and I think he made 3 subs all in one go.
Yeah.
I thought we're going to win this game here, and I was dead confident that we were going to win it as well.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, it's absolute carnage, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
to actually be in that position is amazing.
I think I said on my reaction, it's so weird for, like you said, it's been such a bad season, and I think I said Tuesday night. I said I don't know if it's almost like recency bias, but that game Tuesday for me, in terms of the action on the pitch, the sort of atmosphere off it, and in the South Bank, it's up there with probably not as high as the United FA Cup game, the City comeback at Molineux as well, but it's up there. It will be a game that we remember and that we talk about in the next few years as well. And I agree with you. I think out of all the sort of, let's say, traditional top 6, I always felt like throughout different periods of the last number of years we've been in the Premier League, we've always got the better of most of them. And I think other than that 3-0 game against Liverpool that you mentioned, and obviously we beat them in the FA Cup the one time as well, I always think Liverpool are the team we tend to struggle against. Not necessarily in terms of performance, but in terms of getting the result. We've had some great performances against Liverpool, even under Nuno, and we've never really come out with anything to show from it. So I think Tuesday was good for that reason as well. That for me, it was quite a special moment where Liverpool have picked up form. We've not really been at the races for 95% of the season, and all of a sudden, like you said, I was the same. Get back 60 minutes in and you're still level. You start making fairly positive changes in terms of the players that are coming on. It's especially considering he did rotate a little bit as well at the start of the game. We saw Doc come in, Muller Wolfer start that game as well. And he made those changes and it was positive. I think, Harry, the key for me the last few weeks as well, same in the Villa game, is try and get as far as you can in that game at being level, basically. Even last night in the FA Cup, which we'll come on to, I think it was really crucial. I know it didn't quite work out, but going in at level at half time, because it gives the manager an opportunity to make changes and say something to the players. And the Villa game, the Arsenal game, and then obviously most recently that Liverpool League game, I think the changes and the positivity in the performance has been clear to see in the second half.
Yeah, you're right, mate. And I think our second half performances throughout the season have kind of showed that. It's like, I feel like towards the start of the season we were turgid for a lot of the game, but even so, then I do think in second half performances we do seem to kind of, it takes us an hour to wake up most of the time.
Yeah.
But even these recent games, and since Rob Edwards has come in, look, I've not been his biggest fan, Rob Edwards, because I feel like sometimes he picks a team that, I'm no professional. I'm no professional manager, but I wouldn't pick, and like other fans wouldn't pick. But I think our second half performances this season are probably one of the only reasons that we've got any points, if I'm being dead honest. Because if we're taking the first half performances into our second half performances, I genuinely do think we'd still be on about 2 points, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, the lads recently, especially some of the main leaders in the team, have really started to grow into this team and really started to build on what Rob Edwards wants and what he's trying to build as a team here. You look at the performances of João Gomez and Andre, and even a bloke I cannot stand, Jose Sarr. He's been brilliant recently, and to see like that and see these lads bring their full potential into this team and marry that with the kind of want and desire and belief of what the manager wants, and he's distilling into these players, mate. Some of the performances I've watched this past couple of weeks have been absolutely fantastic, and I mean, it's too little, too late, I'd say, and it's a shame because I know that these lads have got that in them to actually be able to do that and want to win these sort of games of football. But they just haven't shown it enough all season, and that's been our downfall more than anything. I'd say it's a kind of belief in themselves because they've not had the best of it off of the Wolves fans, and
Yeah.
rightfully so. We pay our money, we can kind of have opinions on what we say when we go to games, and it does affect the lads. You can see that, but I've been really impressed with what I've been seeing the past couple of weeks, and if we can take that into next season when we go down, I think we've got a good chance of coming back up.
Yeah, I agree in terms of those individual performances. I mean, we were full of praise for João Gomez after that Villa win, and he sort of built on that as well. I think in the cup game, he's probably a victim of Andre being out and suspended. I think, that restricted him a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely weird days though, isn't it? Because I feel like they haven't been best together for the majority of the season, and I've been clambering for them not to start together. And then these past couple of weeks where they've been in the team together,
Yeah.
it's like a different partnership completely, and it's amazing to see. So I can't believe that they've actually turned out and worked well together in the end. But
Yeah, no, I agree. It was the Villa game, but then he built on that, and then in the Liverpool game, his ability on the ball and the way he's like dribbling and the manipulation of the ball and the way he was able. I thought, where's this player been for the other 30 plus games this season? Really, really strange. But I mean, João Gomez, he didn't get himself on the score sheet this week, but I felt in the league game he was superb, amongst others as well. Andre was solid, and then you've got the players coming off the bench. Rodrigo Gomez, Harry obviously got the goal in the Villa game, and then the goal in the Liverpool game as well. He's somebody ideally you'd want to be keeping around for next season, wouldn't you? I mean, I know he's not quite breaking into the starting 11 just yet, but he would be a real asset going into next season if we're in the Championship.
He might be the best super sub I've ever seen, if I'm being deadly honest. Every time he comes on, he has a say in kind of he'll have a chance or he'll have an opportunity to create something. And it's weird because I feel when he starts games, he's like nowhere near in the game. Like it's almost like the game passes him by. But when he comes on, it's like he's a completely different player. And I'd love for him to be able to transfer that into him starting games as well. And if he does, we've got a real asset on our hands for the Championship next season because I think teams against him and his pace and his ability to actually finish is crazy. And I think in the Championship he'll get a lot more chances like that. So if we can keep hold of him, then that'd be amazing because he would be a real good asset. But I feel like he's one of a few that I really think that Wolves need to keep hold of this summer. We've got a real tough task on our hand. I think the summer's going to be real tough.
Yeah, there's a few questions about team and who will retain, so we'll probably touch on that and have a chat about that later on. Where do you see his best position now, Harry? Because he's come off the bench twice in a more forward area, and that's where we've seen the goals off him. I know when he came back to fitness just after that Shrewsbury game, me included, to be fair, we're sort of pushing for him to start at right wing back ahead of Chichua as well. But seems to getting most joy from him, like you said, at the moment off the bench, but in that final third as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Matt. I think higher up the pitch is much better for him, much better suited for him. Defensively, I don't think he's the greatest in the world. Like, I look at Jackson's defensive capabilities and compare them to Rodrigo Gomez's, and for a bloke who I can't believe he's a footballer, he's miles better defensively than Gomez would be. So I kind of see him being a further forward option, and that's where he's most effective. I mean, he may come on as right wing back in the majority of the games if he's taken off, if Jackson gets taken off or whatever. But even so, in the box, he's so effective, and it's mad, which I think we've missed out on massively this season. Is pace.
I agree.
You look at the teams that score goals, and we've even done it this season ourselves. We held on at Liverpool in the week on Tuesday. We defended brilliantly, and then he gets one ball pumped up. Tolo does well to get the flick on, passed into Rodrigo Gomez, and he beats Canate for pace like it's nothing. So even just having that on the counter attack, how many goals have we scored in the past since we've been up on the counter with under the Nuno teams and with Adama and Neto and all these types of players? And it's crazy to me that we've then gone into a season with little to no pace. We'd have Jackson, who's a right wing back, but you couldn't play him any higher up because of the ability on the ball. And then you've got Rodrigo Gomez, who is a fantastic player, a forward player to get you forward and get you in good areas and finish off a chance. But then again, he can't seem to withhold the quality in the 90 minutes. So I'd say that's definitely something that he needs to get better at by being able to play 90 minutes for full capacity and full want and will and quality on the ball. But as a super sub at the moment, mate, I can't actually believe what I see from him. He's been fantastic every time he's come on.
Yeah, he would be a real asset next season. I think, again, he's sort of been stop-start since he's joined Wolves, not really had that solid run of games. Injuries hampered him a little bit this season as well, but we'll see with him next season. And then the winning goal, I mean, obviously it was a mistake. It seemed like hot potato a little bit, Harry, when we gone look. Everybody, I think that in as a whole, the game was quite sloppy throughout in terms of just silly misplaced passes and so on. But yeah, I think Bellegarde, you could see he was gutted because it was an awful pass from him, which obviously sent Salah through. And he was sort of just lay on the ground, sort of wanting the ground to swallow him up. But thankfully, I was so shocked at, because like you said, we created very few clear-cut opportunities on Tuesday. But what we did do, which you have to do to win Premier League football matches, is especially against teams like Liverpool, is be clinical. And that's what we were. And thankfully, we had the luck. There's been so much luck against us this year.
Oh, God.
But that luck, a huge difference. I actually don't think Andre hit it quite cleanly. And there's probably a reason that's his first Wolves goal and he doesn't score many goals in his professional career. For a player that's so good technically, his ability to strike the ball from range, maybe I'm being harsh, but sometimes it's a bit questionable. But yeah, that huge deflection, Harry, and collector's item of a goal from Andre. But for all the bad luck and the crap that we've had this season, I think we deserve a little moment like that. And as we were mentioning earlier, the atmosphere and the elation and emotion, especially where I was in the South Bank, was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was, and you could see that there are not many teams in the Premier League in the world, mate, that have an atmosphere like Molineux when everything's going right for them. Like we're able to have this kind of connection with the players that just sucks the ball into the net, whatever you do. And I feel like if the lads on the pitch can show that, then the fans will show it back. And that's the kind of thing that we've needed this season. I don't think we've had enough. Obviously, we've had the whole with the owners and the change of the chairman and everything like that. So we've had a really tough season as fans. So yeah, having that ability to be able to have that connection with the players as well, and you could see on the lads' faces, can't you? Especially these last couple of weeks when we've scored down the South Bank end, that they're putting everything into winning these games of football. And as a fan and as a Wolves fan, I don't care if they lose 10-0. If they show me a bit of fight, a bit of bollocks, a bit of want to win, then that's more than any 3 points to me, especially this season. So yeah, man, it's good to see for Andre, and I think he has deserved that, and we have deserved a bit of luck. But I think we've used all of our luck for the season in those last couple of games. You could see that. You could see that yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. The balls weren't dropping for us again. They were getting in areas that I'm like, how's he got past 3 of them? Like the ball's bounced off 3 of our defenders and he threw on goal, like that type of thing. And it was almost like we'd used all of it, and then we're back to square one again. But I suppose you got to take the rough with the smooth, mate. I suppose.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. Obviously, when Andre had scored as well, I mean, the reaction sort of said it all. And I think that, like you said, I agree. The minimum we can ask for as paying fans is that you give 110%. There's nothing more frustrating as a football fan than watching a half-assed performance from a player, which unfortunately over the last couple of years we have seen from certain players in Wolves shirts. But certainly that game on Tuesday, the Villa game, I think will go in the same category. The final moments against Arsenal probably goes in that category where, you know, they almost did sort of roll up their sleeves almost and work hard for that. And I've heard a couple of people say that, you know, Andre is really enjoying his time in England and in Wolverhampton. And you sort of saw that when he grabbed, you know, he's grabbing the badge and so on Tuesday. Yeah. And I thought, how amazing would it be to keep hold of players like that on for next season as well. And as you can imagine, very quickly on Wednesday, there were reports about him going to Juventus again next season. They cropped up all of a sudden. So maybe we won't hold our breath on that one. But I really do hope, I think there will be, say, some surprises, but maybe not teams necessarily wanted to meet Wolves' asking price on certain players. So it would be very interesting if players, you know, like that did stick around, because I think Wolves would have a really good chance of getting back into the Premier League at the first time of asking, like you said. But from, like I said, from real elation, Harry, to pure frustration in that cup game last night, Friday night, under the lights once again at Molineux. And I feel like you would have been a very, very brave person to say at the start of the week that Wolves would win both of these football matches. And I think that's possibly why people went in with a little bit of an element of doubt into yesterday's game. Atmosphere-wise, definitely didn't match Tuesday. Obviously, that can come down to level of performance and so on, but also cup game. You've got people scattered all around the ground. And I saw a few people moaning on social media about the people around them. But by me in the South Bank, there were lots of different people sat in different seats or stood in different spaces, which a few fans weren't too happy about. But firstly, Harry, probably one of the talking points is the selection. Now, I wasn't surprised by the goalkeeper selection anyway, because cup goalkeeper, I thought Sam Johnston was going to come in there. Yeah. Rob Edwards did make a comment about Sarr, I think, having a slight ankle knock anyway, so just resting him there. The rest of the changes, though, not 100% sure on. Obviously, Andre was suspended due to two bookings in the FA Cup already, so that had to change. But I probably would have stuck the rest of the team, as it was from Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I think it was a shock to see so many changes. I understand the goalie one as well. You know, he even said that in his presser that Sam Johnson would start. So I get that one. But when you're looking at players like, I think since Adam Armstrong has kind of come into the team, the press has been fantastic high up, and he's a major part of that. And he did that Tuesday, and we suffocated Liverpool in certain moments in the game. And I thought yesterday it was a pure attack versus defence kind of match. And I think that team that he put out kind of set us up for that. He played Angel Gomez alongside Tolu in the Adam Armstrong role that he kind of has been playing. And I feel, look, I'm sure Angel Gomez will go on to have a good career and a good be a good footballer. Is he a Premier League footballer? I don't think so. I don't quite think he's got the physicality. I feel like you've got to have you've either got to be a brute or you've got to have some serious technical ability. And I think he's just below par of what is needed to be a Premier League player. So I was kind of, I understand why he's played, because Andre it was suspended. So he kind of has to come in, and we're not blessed with many options that we can chop and change the team so much. But I understand that the Premier League team and what we've been seeing recently should just be playing these games, because as much as we think that we have a chance to be safe, until it's mathematically done, I understand we have got a chance. But realistically, if we're talking realistic, it's never going to happen. So I don't understand why he's gone so strong Tuesday and then kind of gone the opposite yesterday. And that's kind of what got me. And I feel like Molineux has struggled recently as well. I don't think he's the man to take us forward either, if I'm being deadly honest. So yeah, and Krejci, I just feel like when he's available, he's got to play. He's one of the best. He's one of the best defenders in the team, so he has to be in the team. So yeah, I was a bit shocked and disappointed. But you've got to look at Liverpool as well. Look, if Liverpool had won Tuesday, Slot would have probably put the under-21s out. So it kind of works both ways. So Liverpool went strong again, and they had a point to prove that they were terrible Tuesday. So they had to play well yesterday, and they did. But the team kind of helped them with that, I thought, straight away, and also the tactics that Rob put out as well. But we'll get onto that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of Liverpool as well, they did have a point to prove, and it was going to go one of two ways. They were going to get sort of that Wolves performance from Tuesday would have been in their head, and that would have played into our advantage, or they were going to react. And unfortunately for us, they did react. I think they had very small rotation, Liverpool, probably not as much as I expected, but I won't butcher his surname, but Rio on their left-hand side for
Oh my God,
looks a fantastic footballer, doesn't he?
He was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think he was only about 2 or 3 minutes in. It might have been just in front of you, Harry, where Mosquera tackled him and then just stood up and just stared at him and gave him the evilest look.
Yeah.
And I thought, what's that about? And I thought, we mean business here. But
the thing is, mate, sorry, I'm just going to cut in there. That Rio is a whole reason that football is so amazing to watch. You've got young lads like that. I think he's 17, isn't it?
17, yeah, I think so.
17 years of age. Every time he was on the ball, he was direct.
Yeah.
You want players like that, and you've got lads who are young lads like that who want to carry the ball forward. Mane's the same. It's the same kind of different player, but the same kind of mentality. I'm going to get the ball. I don't care who's near me. I don't care if I'm up against the best centre-half in the world. I'm going to run at him. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to beat him. And he did yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought Jackson was miles behind him yesterday.
Yeah.
But, Jackson had a great game Tuesday. So you can kind of see that if you're direct and you want to get forward and you want to get into the box and you want to try and create something, you'll do it. You'll do it. No matter how many times you're attempting it, you'll do that. And God, I was glad when he got took off yesterday. It was way too late.
I think if you're a neutral fan or you're a real strong supporter of the English national team and stuff like that, players like him are exciting prospects that we're going to be looking forward to. And it'd be interesting. Players like that, maybe he's a year or two, maybe too young for it. Liverpool maybe do have to be cautious with how the Harvey Elliott situation's gone, but players like that, and I don't think he'd drop to the Championship, but for argument's sake, if we could knock on the door and say, look, we'll give him 40, brother. Yeah, I'll give you 46 games next season. Don't you worry. Well, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, Liverpool, I felt we did well. And like I said earlier, I felt we were nowhere near. I don't think Tuesday's first half performance was great, but yesterday you could tell just around the ground it was flatter. Our overall performance was flatter. There was never really an opportunity where I think, we're looking all right. Never really clicked to try and get in behind them. Really, a couple of opportunities once again where I think Jackson is slowly improving, just in terms of knowing when to make the right runs and picking up the right areas. There's still moments where I think the players are a little bit cautious to actually pass the ball to him. And there were a couple of moments where that final ball still wasn't good enough. And the lads by me said, look, if he could cross the ball, he wouldn't be at Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it was a conversation that we used to have about Adama. He's ability-wise, dribbling at times, pace, brilliant. But if he could put the ball in the back of net, or if he could whip the ball in, there's a reason why he was playing for us at that time. So, I felt going into half-time for if we can hold on here, then we can work on it. But unfortunately, similar to the United game in the league earlier on in December, where you lose concentration for about 2 minutes and it costs you. I mean, it's a great strike from Robertson, who I think for a player, Harry, who's probably, without being disrespectful, past his prime a little bit. I think Liverpool, he could be leaving Liverpool in the summer. A real solid, experienced, mature performance from him. And then obviously Salah goes and scores a tap in, albeit very tight for a potential offside. But you basically, you've gone from 2 minutes before being in the tie and having the chance of getting into the quarterfinal, and 2 minutes later being out the cup because you just thrown it away with a lapse of concentration.
Yeah, I agree, mate. It's one of those things. How many times have we done this season? We've conceded, and then a minute or two later, 3 or 4 minutes later, we've conceded again straight away.
Yeah,
you've given yourself a mountain to climb within the space of 2 minutes. When 2 minutes ago, you're still well in the tie. So
Yeah.
that kind of lapse of concentration is one of the main reasons we've been done this season. The lads have kind of got over that in recent time. When we've conceded in the majority of this season, I thought, all right, 1-0 game's done. The lads crumble and then it turns 3-4, But recently, we've conceded and then still look like we could be within the game.
Yeah.
And that's been great, and that's been great to see. But the concentration needs to be there. No matter who you're playing, no matter who it's against, it needs to be there 100% of the time. And that's been one of the main reasons that we've been so poor this year, is a lapse in concentration and also a lack of just belief in yourself. And you've got players like that, like Andy Robertson. He's probably 35 odd. He still believes in himself. He come out and said after the game, I got nothing to prove to these to Liverpool fans or whatever. He's got belief in himself that he can still be the best player that he thinks he is and stuff like that. So, I mean, the concentration thing really, really bugs me, and because it's your job. You work for 90 minutes on that pitch. You should be able to stay focused for 90 minutes. It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and like you said, it's happened probably too many times this season. I don't know. I can't really put my finger on why that happens. I mean, we probably give away the ball slightly too cheaply at times. When you go 1-0 down, ultimately you try and keep the ball a little bit, settle down, keep the possession, and for whatever reason, it's been, like you mentioned a few times. Did it at Liverpool in the reverse fixture at Anfield, if you remember. The Manchester United game is the one as well that I remember at Molineux, where
really
you've gone from 1-1 at half time, and within 5 or 10 minutes later, the game's completely gone. It's like 3-1, I think, at that point as well. So that's something that hopefully can improve between now and the end of the campaign. Obviously, Liverpool went 3-0 up. At that point, it's completely game over. But Hwang comes on. I think that was just after the third goal, Harry. And I said to my friend, I said, I think people, because a lot of people are starting to leave, and I think people have not realised that Hwang's come on the pitch, because there was no real reaction to that. But to be fair to him, gets the goal, and I think Liverpool will be disappointed by the defending, because it's just a route one ball over the top. But Hwang's still got that little bit to do, and he shows that composure and gets a finish. Which, look, Wolves fans will probably not want me to say this, but I suppose can't be anything but good for Hwang's confidence. But let's maybe wait to see if Rob puts him in the starting 11 for next Monday.
Dave, now let's not be silly here now, right? I used to be one of Hwang Hee-chan's almightiest fans. I'd rival the Korean lot for him. Like, I used to love him. That one that sticks in my mind is that Brentford game where he was unbelievable, and he went off injured. If Hwang Hee-chan is the answer, we're in serious trouble, mate, because he can't be the answer anymore. He's kind of... I've always said he's great in the box. Great finisher. He'll get you a goal. If it's passed to him in the box, I know it's going in. He's one of those sort of players. But if he's one of the players to take us into next season...
Would you cut ties with him then in the summer?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, draw a line.
100%. I feel like for his sake more than as well as Wolves, because you know yourself, Wolves fans don't like Hwang Hee-chan. There's only a small amount that can tolerate him, I think, and you could see that he gets booed off the pitch, he gets booed onto the pitch. Mm-hmm. As a player, that is, if I was hearing that myself, my head would be gone, and I wouldn't even want to play for the team that's doing that to me. And so you can't actually, hate on him for that, because he gets absolute pelters. And Hwang has done a lot for us as a club. He's helped us a lot. If it's commercially,
probably our fourth or fifth top Premier League scorer, by the way, I think.
Yeah,
as well.
He probably is. Yeah, and at the start of his Wolves career, he was fantastic. I remember his first game that we watched. It was Watford away.
Yeah, he scored. Didn't
he?
We
won 2. I think it was 2-0 that day.
Yeah,
and he scored that little tap in, and oh my god, I couldn't stop talking about him on my own.
I remember that video because I posted the reaction and it blew up. I was like, "What's going on here?" Yeah. It's because he scored the winner.
All the Korean lads.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been a good servant to this club, but he would be one of the ones for me to go. I just think this team needs a clean slate, and the squad needs kind of a refresh. And you can see every time he's brought onto the pitch, me included, I'm like, oh god, here we go, type of thing. And like, me and my brother do a bingo now.
Yeah.
Before the game, so we each pick a bingo, and we have one each, and then we have a joint one. And our joint one was yesterday for Hwang Hee-chan to ruin our day.
That was the opposite.
yeah.
Well, not
and,
yeah.
the game was already ruined before he come on, so
Yeah.
that one didn't go in. But yeah, mate.
Go on. What was yours for yesterday?
My bingo yesterday was the referee to kind of mess with his.
To be fair, he did the liner. He did the liners. Yeah.
My brother gave me a tick for that.
Top 10 respect moments.
Yeah. So we've had that. I can't remember what my brothers were, but yeah, that was
the
our
best one that's come in throughout this season. Have you had one that's like
We've not had many because we go rogue. We don't just have like, I don't know, like Tolu to score and stuff like that. It's like we had one that come in. Probably this is the best one, and it does involve Hwang. I think it was Hwang Hee-chan to be booed onto the pitch, then booed off.
Yeah.
Coming. So there we go.
Oh man. I mean, you mentioned Tolu there. I mean, we'll probably come on to him a little bit more, but before I sort of wrap up this guy, I felt he really struggled, and I think there's probably a reason, and it's not just on him, Harry, but obviously since that Palace game, he's come out of the limelight a little bit, but I actually think we're playing a little bit better and we're showing a little bit more without him. And look, I know he came on the pitch for the Liverpool game and arguably the reason why we got ourselves on the score sheet, but I just think our overall play, we're a lot less one-dimensional with him off the pitch because I just think, it's not for his own fault, but I think when he's on the pitch, you think, we don't need to play football. We'll just get it 40, 50 yards at the pitch and hope that Tolu can trap it. Whereas I talk about the Liverpool game, the league game in particular, we've not really spoke about the ability or our sort of want to try and play the ball out from the back. And in terms of distribution from Jose Sarr, look, I know his kicking ability is not great, but in terms of him picking up the ball and his distribution was so much better and quicker on Tuesday. And I saw it a little bit yesterday with Sam Johnson as well. They're getting the ball and looking to throw it out. We've not seen enough of. But I think because you had him almost strong up there, mentally you think, I can't just hoof this ball up to him. So you actually want to play better football as well. So we'll go on to the questions later because I know there's one on Tolu. But I think, again, I don't think it's all through his own fault of his own. I think players have got to be closer to him and you need better quality around him. But he's just not covering himself in glory at times. And even yesterday in the cup games, once or twice where it's just the most straightforward of passes or hold-ups, and he's struggling to do that.
I agree, mate. You could see that he really struggled yesterday. There was a point in the match where someone played a pass into him, and he tried to control it, and the ball just got under his foot.
Yeah.
I'm just like, second half. I'm like, that's. I wouldn't expect the lads on a Sunday to do that. Like, just trap the ball. That's one of your main jobs is to hold the ball up. And he does not cover himself in glory. He's a 6 foot, however tall he is. Big lad. And every time he's jumping up for a header on goal, it's off target. Like it doesn't cover himself in much glory. But like then you get glimpses, like we had Tuesday. Brilliant hold up play. He battles with Van Dijk in the air, shoves him off the ball, brings it down, lovely passing to Rodrigo. And then he's in. Whether he's a confidence player as well. Because he can't be a bad goal scorer. Didn't he score like 32 goals in the Belgian league?
Well, the last 2 years.
Like that.
Yeah.
So he's obviously not a bad finisher. He can't be. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's coming to a poor Wolves team who are kind of, when he's on the pitch, very one-dimensional. The amount of times that we just lump it, and we did it yesterday a lot. And that's, I feel as well, that was one of the main reasons that we weren't in the game. We'd have the ball in defence. And they instantly think the defenders, Tolu's up there, he'll win it.
Yeah.
When Adam Armstrong plays, they don't do that. You saw that Tuesday night. Yeah, we tried to play a bit more, and it works because then you get the balls into midfield, and you get people like Andre and Joe Gomez on the turn, and then the space is there straight away. The wide lads and then the fullbacks are bombing on. So we do play much better football without him.
Yeah.
But I also feel like he's a good option at times. We saw that Tuesday. For the 60 minutes of the game, we played the way, and we went in at 0-0 and got to about 60 minutes at 0-0. And the lads had ran their bollocks off all game. And you could see the press was working well. And then they brought Tolu on. And then the Liverpool defenders were like, oh, shit, hang on here. We've got something else to deal with now.
Yeah.
So then you can see that Van Dijk and Konate are trying to double up on him. They're nowhere near him. And then it creates a passing lane for Rodrigo straight away.
Fresh legs.
So it's a good option to have that, I think. But I don't know if, like I said earlier, I don't think he can take us into next season and then score, like 40 odd goals. Do you know what I mean?
I think there is. It's very difficult because I feel this season as a whole is going to skew our perspective of so many players.
Yeah.
I think there is a universe next season where, because he's obviously scored that amount of goals in Belgium, like you said, can't necessarily be a bad finisher.
Yeah.
But ultimately, unfortunately, outside of that 18-yard box, he obviously isn't offering enough. So you would hope next season, when we are possibly a little bit more attacking, or at least got a lot more quality than a good 75% of the teams next season, hopefully you'll have the ball in the final third a little bit more, and hopefully that's where you will start to see the best of Tolu. Typically, though, he has had decent games against some decent teams. But on the flip side of that, there have been fans that I've seen on social media say that number 14 for Wolves is the worst footballer I think I've ever seen. So he's had a real strange debut season, really. And I wouldn't be against him staying next season, because ultimately I think you will probably get inquiries for him in the summer, but I don't necessarily think Wolves would be making their money back. If there was an offer on the table to make your money back on him, I think you do have to think about it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be in a... I do think he'll get his goals next season, but I think you need better quality players around him for a start. I think you need players that can actually cross a ball into the box. There's an interesting question later, which I'll touch on, and I'll explain why I say this, but more pace, which you mentioned earlier. I think that's a massive thing for Wolves. And I think potentially if we're going into the Championship, a change of formation, I think this sort of 5 at the back is almost like in the Wolverhampton Wanderers DNA now, unfortunately. Whenever we play a back 4, for whatever reason, we just can't seem to make it work.
Terrible.
Yeah, but next season, I think if you can play a back 4, you almost add another midfielder and more attacking players. You get more quality around Tolu, and it can work. Because I think the route 1 is happening now with Tolu, but there's no Wolves players within 10 yards of him. So if he's winning the flick-ons or trying to trap it, there's no players close enough to him to make it work. So
I think that's been a big problem for us all season, to be honest. Like, there's been plenty of times where he's won flick-ons and they've been good flick-ons, but then the nearest player to him is one of the midfielders, or Mane's not the quickest player in the world. It's since Mane's come in, and he's been winning flicks. But if you've got nobody else around him, no pace to get yourself forward, you're never going to score. And the amount of times we've watched this season where we've lumped it, and he's won something, and it's either gone straight to the goal legs, no one's near him, or the defenders are just covering. We make it way too easy for teams to defend against us at times, and I do feel for Tolu a little bit because, like I say, it could be good. It could come good, and he might do next year if we can get the players in and around him closer, and also not for him just lumping the ball up to him with 60, 70-yard passes. Like, that's just ridiculous. So, do I think we could see him as our main striker next year? I don't think so. I can't see that happening, but at the same time, well, it's Wolves, so everything's level.
We'll wait and see. It'll be very interesting. We'll move on, Harry. We've got one game left this month now, I think, and there's quite a little bit of a break. We don't play at Molineux now until 25th, I think, of April.
7 weeks, I think it is.
Yes, horrible break, considering how well, bar Friday, some people will be celebrating. But yeah, it's Brentford away, which will be an interesting one, because I think people sort of just subconsciously go into these sort of games thinking, oh yeah, this will be maybe we've got a chance here. But Brentford have been very, very good. I think they have shot every single person, considering when Keith Andrews got the job, me included. we're expecting they were going to be one of the strugglers this season. They've proved everybody wrong. They've got some players firing, Igor Thiago in particular, scoring the goals. Tough test, this one for Wolves, especially if Rob Edwards wants to push on and try and make it 3 wins on the bounce in the league.
Yeah, I think it's an extremely tough opposition, especially with where they are in the league right now.
Yeah,
they've obviously got the tails up. They're wanting to carry on and go forward and try and get any European spot. Because I don't know if Brentford have ever been in a European spot before or ever played in it. So it's not going to be a game that 3 or 4 seasons ago we'd walk over there and have a great opportunity to pick up points. I think it's going to be a really tough day for Wolves, and we've not won a league game away from home since Ipswich, which is really damning stats.
Wow, I didn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
since the Ipswich game, so
nearly a year.
Nearly, yeah.
Yeah, flipping heck.
Yeah, so it's not going to be a tough. It's not going to be an easy walk in the park there. They've got some real good players and a great cohesive unit. I love players like Damsgaard. He's awesome. And players like Sade, and they've got a great back line. And the manager, I had them tipped to go down easy.
Yeah,
they'd have been in my bottom 3 at the start of the season, and now fair play to him. I was kind of laughing when they got Keith Andrews in. I was like, God, only a set piece, coach. What's they going to do? And now all of a sudden they're fighting for a European spot. So yeah, fair play to him. And that just shows that if you keep hold of some of your main players, I know they've got rid of Ibuemo and Wissa, but when you're a cohesive unit like that, and you can find other players that can pick up the goals for you, and I mean that Thiago. I can't quite believe what I've seen from him this year. He's been absolutely fantastic and a proper bagsman. So, yeah, that's going to be a real tough day, and one that I think on paper we could probably get something at if we were well at it. But it just depends what Wolves turn up on the day.
Yeah, Monday night fixture, another midweek fixture away from home for Wolves. Strange because Brentford actually a team that we did okay against. Obviously, Thomas Frank. It was an early days when they came to Molineux in the 21-22 season. I think it was under Bruno Lage. Wolves played really well and got done in by the dark arts of Brentford and Thomas Frank. And then since then, we had a really, really good run of form against them.
That was when Raya changed his gloves, by the way. Oh, my head was off that day, by the way. Yeah. I could not believe seeing that. Oh, my word.
Yeah, they absolutely... And then Bruno, I think was it after that game? After that game, Bruno completely changed how we played after that. And it was okay that first season, but I remember before that Brentford game, we hadn't won, but we were unbelievable. We played some unbelievable football. And then, I don't know, something switched in him after that game, and we really, really struggled to... he struggled to show that quality again. But... After that game, we had a really good run against them, but we've now not won in the last 4 in all competitions against Brentford. Obviously, they beat us 5-3 last season under Gary O'Neill, which was an absolute disaster class towards the start of last season. Really poor game, and then the 2-0 defeat just before Christmas, which I think was Brentford's first away or second away win of the season because they'd gone a really poor win away from home. So, be very interesting to see what version of Wolves turns up. But I think one of our favourite memories of the new stadium, at least, the G-Tech, was that 4-1 win just after Christmas in 2023. That was Hwang grabbed a couple that game.
That was the Hwang Hee-chan masterclass.
Oh, was that the one you're talking about?
Then he got took off just before half time, injured. I think he was.
Yeah.
That was a great day. That was. Yeah.
So really, I'm just looking at our team now. It seems like a lifetime ago, that game. But you got Sarr in goal. Santi Bueno actually started in defence with Taty and Kilman. Lemina and João Gomez holding. Ain't Nori Semedo wing backs and Cunha and Sarabia behind Hwang.
Oh, what a side!
Then the bench: Joe Hodge, Chirewa, Sasha Kalajdzic. So some names there, but yeah, that was a good game. But yeah, Brentford being really, really interesting matches against them. Normally, it'll be a tough test either way. Let's jump on to some questions before we finish off, Harry. I've had a couple on Twitter, but quite a few on Instagram as well. Let's have a look at some of these. Dan Evans, interesting one. All right, lads, who would you like to see us be relegated with, keeping in mind competition for players, etc.? So obviously, very likely Burnley. Let's say if we go down, by the way, that 99.97% or whatever it is. Burnley, you would imagine, come down with us. Now, as it stands, it's crazy because it's going to be a massive team coming down regardless.
Yeah,
You know, West Ham starting to pick up a little bit of form. Forest, Spurs are in all sorts of trouble. I think Leeds could still get dragged into it, depending on the next couple of weeks as well. Out of those four, I mean, they're probably one of the teams I don't particularly like the most. I would probably say Leeds I would want out of those four get dragged into it. I just think they've I think the other three are just massive football clubs, and they will make life so hard next season to be in the top two.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. I'd say Leeds out of them. Tottenham is the one that I would not want the most to come down. They need to do everything they can to stay in the Premier League, because you might as well just give them the title straight away.
Yeah,
they're a massive club. They still have a massive budget to spend. The only issue is with them is whether the players that they've got in have got relegation clauses in their contracts. And I mean, if they haven't, then they're in serious trouble, because you're going to have people like, they'd have to sell the whole team for the 21s, really. But even so, then I still think they'd have enough to win the championship. They should do anyway. But yeah, looking at Leeds, they're probably the most. Leeds fans won't like to hear this, but they're probably the most championship team out of the lot of them. Forest, I think, they're probably next. I'd take, and then West Ham would be last. But yeah, I could just see Leeds, us battling against Leeds and teams like Burnley. But I feel like the championship next year is going to be some serious quality in there. Like, there's some big teams in the championship next year. You've got, if Leicester stay up, teams like that. Sheffield United is still probably going to be down there. Southampton is still probably going to be down there. You've got teams who are coming up this year in Cov and Middlesbrough that haven't been in the Premier League for a while. So, the actual teams that you'd see as Premier League teams that are going to be down there next year. So yeah. I'd definitely say Leeds as well. I'd definitely have them coming down with us.
I just saying, I know this is probably me sounding really, really condescending, but yeah, let's imagine, to be fair, Millwall got a win just before we recorded, so they're right. I can't believe how close they are to Borough, but I think that's happened the last few years with Millwall, and they've had a quiet end to the season, but you got Millwall, Ipswich, Hull and Wrexham in the playoffs at the moment.
I know.
Like I said, Coventry and Middlesbrough. So next season, you will get teams like Southampton and awful start. They might still creep into the playoffs, to be fair. Yeah. You got Southampton, Sheffield United, like you said. Blues will probably give it another good go from the summer onwards as well. I mean, Wrexham are in the playoffs, but they'll invest massively once again in the summer if they don't go up. Norwich have had a massive change of fortunes over the second half of the season. And then you've got one of Baggies or Leicester. There's a chance both of them go down, which I would love, by the way. But if either or both of them stay up, they'll wake up next season more than likely as well. So
yeah,
it will be tested. But what I was saying is, like, whenever I watch this division, the quality of football is diabolical. And I know we've not been great. Don't get me wrong, we have been awful, and we will lose quality players as well. But I would just hope, especially, and I know it's been so hard to actually listen and trust what Fosun say, but they're going to give this a massive go to make sure we spunk whatever money we need to make sure we're not in that division very long.
Yeah, I had a massive hate watch this afternoon on the Albion. I've just been watching them.
Would you
every time
League One? Because there will be a percentage of Wolves fans that want them to stay up, but I'd love them to go down.
I mean, I'd love them to go down. To be absolutely hilarious. The time we're absolutely dog shit, they're also dog shit and go down as well. That's the funny thing about it. But I'm quite. I love football and I love rivalries. And when we played them in the cup the other year, that day was unbelievable. And when you win it, it's the best thing in the world. You go home, you go back to Wolverhampton, you text all your mates how shit they are. That's the kind of shit that you love. Yeah. And I've kind of missed that a little bit about football. But yeah, I'd absolutely love it if they went down. But the quality of the championship itself is scary. how bad it is. Like, you have Cov and you got Middlesbrough. All the rest of them is pretty poor.
Yeah.
It's all like kind of physical, and there's no real. It's hard to say. Like, you see, like Man City, how they pop it about and all that sort of stuff. You don't really have that in any of the Championship teams, apart from maybe Cov and Middlesbrough. And that's the kind of thing that we're going to have to get used to again. We're going to watch teams next year, and we're going to play against teams, and we're going to play turgid football at times. It's just how the Championship is.
It'll be really interesting because obviously we've got our wins and so on mainly off counter attacks and so on. Whereas next season, it's almost going to be the opposite to us because for especially the opening stages, we're going to be the team in the Championship. So teams are going to naturally sit 10 or 11 blokes behind the ball, and even under Nuno, Wolves struggle to break those sort of teams down. So I think that attacking area really needs to be looked at. But then that's where you will get the likes of Angel Gomez if he sticks around. Tommy Doyle more than likely come back. Their technical ability, if they can, they could stand out, and it could be a good campaign for them. But obviously, both of them probably lack that little physical edge. But like I said, if you could squeeze 40 plus gains out of players like that, I think Angel Gomez has been a little bit underwhelming so far. I think a lot of people would have said that, but if he does stick around, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with him. But part of me is excited for next season if we go down, because I think you will have that opportunity, play new teams, see new players, and hopefully win more games. But I am worried. But I think the new playoff change, I'm a little bit as a neutral fan, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it plays into our hands a little bit. You would be devastated if I think we need to be top 2 anyway. But you've got every chance to bounce straight back. Wolves should be in that top 8 very, very comfortably.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? But at the same time, I thought this season, it's all what we think as fans. The opposite seems to happen at the moment. When we sold Cunha and when we sold players like Neto, you think that you're going to reinvest in the squad to keep you in the Premier League. That's what every kind of ownership should be doing.
Yeah.
But so whatever we think, the opposite might happen.
Yeah.
But like you say, with players like if Angel Gomez sticks around, and I watched Tommy Doyle quite a few times this season, and I think he's looked real good in that Blues team. And I feel like when he's sitting deep and he's able to ping balls across the pitch, that's what you kind of need. And we've struggled with that a lot this season. But I know we're worried about it, and I know everyone worries about going down, because if you don't go up first time with asking, it's kind of like you're going to stuck and kind of rot in there for years. But I think the ownership will get it right this season coming.
Yeah,
they have to. Otherwise, what we've seen this season in terms of the fan protests will. You saw what happened when we went down. We double dipped, Dave. You seen how nasty Molineux can get.
Yeah.
So I could see that sort of thing happening again if they don't get it right.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it on the podcast, mentioned it on the channel from the horse's mouth. Nathan Shee's job is to make sure Wolverhampton Wanderers are a Premier League team at the start of the 27-28 season. So we'll wait and see. And in terms of investment, I think they'll probably bring in a decent amount of money off sales. They already have back end of January as well. Just hope that is reinvested. We'll see how we go. Coops 90. I'm not aware of this, but I haven't heard this firsthand, but I am aware of it. A few people moaning on social media. Do you think commentary should be strictly neutral for both teams? I found Stephen Warnock awful. Apparently, he was on the coverage last night. I don't think he was very good, but I haven't heard any of it. I don't know if you have.
No, I didn't hear any of it, mate. To be honest, I was at the ground, so I didn't watch it. But I do think commentary as a whole is pretty biased nowadays, isn't it? Like, I watched the Arsenal game against Mansfield earlier, and you've got Martin Keown as one of the pundits there, and he's just absolutely lauding them, like he does. So yeah, but I do think as a whole should be more neutral, because it is really frustrating as fans to watch a game on the telly and listen, and it just pisses you off because they're obviously biased to one sort of team, and it happens a lot with the top six teams. That's just how it is. But it's frustrating to watch and listen to. So I get where he's coming from there. To be honest.
From a broadcaster point of view, I get it, because you almost want someone that has got like that affinity with the club and knows the club. But at the same time, a decent commentator or co-commentator would do their research on said team or players beforehand anyway. So they should understand what's going on before the game anyway. So it's one of them. Squashua Joshua, he said he appreciates the boys on YouTube and the pod, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Awesome. A lot of people asking about players that we think we can keep hold of. We'll have a chat about that in a sec. Robbie Walker, which of the players from the 2012 relegated team do you think could get into this current side? And I assume, Harry, he means from their playing quality in 2012 and not in their current ability now, although some of them may still get in this team. What I was on about earlier with Tolu, I think someone like Jarvis, then, Jarvis's pace and his ability to whip the ball in, that would be up there for me. I'm trying to think. There wasn't a huge amount of quality in that. No. Stephen Fletcher obviously would be another one, maybe.
They obviously would. I think if you had them playing against, I like to think sometimes, like, what would certain teams that we've seen along the years against this crop that we have now, like, how would they actually get on? Me and my brother were talking about it earlier, actually, this morning, about this Wolves team against the team that come up with the Championship year. We were saying the Championship team would batter this team, would absolutely batter them, and I think that's true for a lot of the teams that we've seen. But going back to the 2012 team, like you say, Java would probably be one.
Stephen Fletcher, obviously, that was before he left. He got a decent amount.
How many goals did he get that year?
Over 10, I think he got about 12.
He walks into it then, mate.
Yeah. If I had to guess, he would. Ebanks Blake maybe is another option, because he actually, the following season before his injury, he was actually all right for us as well.
Yeah.
And he's just a Championship bagsman, wasn't he, anyway? I'm trying to think if there was anybody else, really, of note.
Was Guardiola there still at that point?
I can't remember. That season we went down, he scored 12 Prem goals.
Fuck, mate, he'd be in there, defo.
Yeah.
Can you get there? Can you go to the last game of the season for that squad and just have a look? Or?
Yeah, so you had, off the top of my... All right, I've got the squad here in general. So you've got Elikobi, he barely played that season. Obviously, you got Hennessy, which I wouldn't be too bothered. You got Stearman. Michael Kitely was still playing then. Obviously, you got another move. Cole Henry. So yeah, someone like Cole Henry, you possibly take.
Yeah, for the physicality.
Yeah. Stephen Ward played a lot of games that season. It'd be interesting in the back five, Stephen Ward, because he was decent going forward. To be fair, it'd be interesting as a left wing back.
Would he get into this team though over Hugo Bueno, who, by the way, has been fantastic recently?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. We had the small stint of Emmanuel Frimpong that season as well. He disappeared off the face of the earth. Let's have a look, see who else. I'm talking because there was like Eggert Johnson and Stephen Moyko that year. I'm talking. You got Kevin Doyle. I think it's mad how much football's changed. That's it, really. I think the players that we've mentioned there already, to be honest. So I think you're looking Jarvis, Fletcher, maybe Carl Henry at a push. But again, respectfully, I don't think he was the best technical footballer in the world. So I'll probably say them. I'm sure people get involved in the comments as well on that one as well. Let's try and quickly smash through one or two more. Kate Hughes, 97. Would you trust Tolu and Armstrong to lead the line next year? He thinks 15 goals each plus. So I think we need at least one more player, but I'm not sure if Tolu stays still yet.
No, I wouldn't trust those two as a pair to get us back up. If I'm honest, I think Adam Armstrong is a perfect Championship striker for me. You can see that he scored 30 odd goals, didn't he, in the last season for Southampton? I think he did.
Yeah, he's got a good record.
Yeah.
Regardless,
So I definitely have him for next year. I mean, he's been brought in for that reason alone, hasn't he? So, but yeah, I definitely think we do need to look at another option. But my big thing next year is to go and get championship players. I don't want to be seeing young lads coming from different countries like the Portuguese leagues and stuff like that. You need to see championship quality players, and they're available. With a team like Wolves have just come down, and we will have the funds to spend. You have to be going into these other championship teams and taking their players. It's as simple as that. And they might not let you, but you've got to do everything you can to at least try and get these players in. Players like Gustavo Harmer, who I watched today, who could still do a very good job in a Wolves team. And, like players like maybe, I'm not saying that he would come because they're going to go up. Players like Haji Wright, they're bagsmen. Yeah. They score goals. So that's the type of players that we need to start seeing in this team that when we go down next year, I think.
I think there'll be a scope, and there'll be. I reckon there'll be players like homegrown British players as well, but players that aren't necessarily in favour at their clubs, and that's why you might have to wait towards the back end of August for these. When players Premier League, I'm talking Premier League clubs as well, thinking I'm probably not going to play with the scope. Wolves start off the season well. Players like I want to be there. I want a promotion. We push on next year. Like Fosun have got the opportunity to. Firstly, the ticket prices, we know they're going to be imminent soon. That's the one thing to get fans back on side. But show you mean business. Start putting your money where your mouth is. Start chucking the money about early on in the window, and then people will take notice of you and want to join in and want to rejoin hopefully at the start of a new project as definitely. Well. But it'd be interesting to see. I'll finish off with one question as well, Harry, because I'll come back to something you said earlier on as well. This is off Amar's music show. If Rob Edwards gets us promoted back to the Premier League next season, do you think he's actually good enough to keep us in the league? Personally, I don't, but think it would be very difficult to sack him after getting us promoted. So I feel like we're likely to yo-yo. I'm going back to what you said earlier, because you said you're still unsure about Rob Edwards, and I made a comment about some of the Edwards out posts that I saw yesterday, which I felt were slightly reactionary, but ultimately I do understand where Amar's coming from there, because I think everyone, whether you like Rob Edwards or not, probably deep down you think, is he going to be able to take us back to, mid-table, top half of the table of the Premier League? I'm not so sure. I think he's inherited a very bad football team for what it's worth. But yeah, what's your stance on it at the moment?
I mean, I guess it all depends on next year, I suppose. Like, if you've got a team, you look at like that Reggie Libri who's coming at Sunderland. He came in at Sunderland and he built a fantastic championship team, and they've took that I know they've invested a lot of money into that side, but he's taken them, he's brought them up, and he's built on it straight away. So if he's got the ability to, obviously, when we go down, he's got to be able to build a strong championship quality. And I don't want to see us next year just kind of scraping by games, because that won't do. Yeah. You've got to be winning and winning convincingly. And then if and hopefully when we come back up the season after, he's got to build on that straight away. And I feel like if he does get us back up, he's deserved a chance with his team, with his kind of way of playing, to have a go. But one thing that we have to do, and we didn't do it early enough this year, is when it's time to get rid, got to get rid. Got to, because
too slow with Gary O'Neill as well, and then too slow.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened with us this season. And you look at the side now, and you look at the games, and we have improved under Rob Edwards. We have, but the bar was so low. He hasn't even got us to a point where it's like acceptable yet. We're still at the low bar, and that's the issue. But if he proves himself in the Championship next season, gets us back up, first time of asking, and we're looking fantastic as a team, then he does deserve a chance next year, I think. But like we say, this board alone has got to act quicker than what they have been doing the past couple of seasons, mate. Because if they don't, then we'll be straight back down again, unfortunately.
So say we go into the summer and his reputation is similar to where it is now. So I'm saying there is a chance he wins 3 or 4 games before the end of the season. I don't think he will, but say he does. Momentum it can be a bit higher, but say his sort of reputation is similar to where it is now. At what stage of next season do you judge him? Because there will be people that are judging him from game week 1, but obviously he's going to have the summer. By the end of the summer window, you're probably 4-ish games into the season, I think. Are you judging? I mean, there'll be lots of different periods because you've got to have international breaks and so on again. Are you looking sort of mid to end of September before you think people can have a fair opinion of where we are at with Rob Edwards?
I think it works 2 ways, because I feel like I can judge him as early as I can, really. But if he's not being backed by the board again, then how can I judge him on him personally? He's obviously not brought in. Yeah. He's obviously not brought in any players that he wants to bring in because the board haven't done it for him. So he's still playing with the same crop that we've got at the moment, or players that somebody else has brought in. So until if I see him come out and say, I brought in everybody I want to bring in, this is the team to take us back up into the Premier League, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, then I will judge him after 5 or 6 games. That's how football works. Yeah. It's a results-based business, and I want results. So that's the thing. And if he can't do that, then he's obviously not the man to take us forward, is he? So, yeah, it's got to be early on in the season.
Hypothetically, not to say it would happen as well, but say for argument's sake, in a hypothetical world, someone like Anish Postecoglou, Thomas Frank knocked the door and said, we'd be really interested in taking Wolves back to the Premier League. Do you bite the bullet straight away and get rid of
Me personally, yes. Because I know Rob Edwards is Wolves through and through, and I love that. And I love that about people who are like that. But at the same time, they're better managers than Rob Edwards. They've proved that. They've shown that. So you'd be stupid not to, as a Wolves fan. I'm thinking about the club here. I'm not talking about the manager himself. But at the same time, I don't think Fosun would do that, because of they've even come out and said now they've got some sort of thought process on Rob Edwards that he's the man. He's the man to take us forward. So maybe that's one for them to kind of think of. But do I think that they might make the same mistakes that they made this season? Yeah, maybe. I think so.
Yeah. I mean, if you remember with Paul Lambert, I know it's quite an extreme example, but he could have easily kept his job the following season. And obviously, when Wolves knew Nuno was available, it was a little bit. I remember that whole week felt a bit of a drag, and Paul Lambert went on Sky Sports News that week and acted as if nothing had happened, and he was gone the next day. But I was speaking to somebody who works pretty high up at a Premier League club this week, and he said, if somebody of a certain caliber became available and you could entice them, you just get rid of Rob Edwards. They're saying, it's football. You have to consider things like that, because it could change.
They've got to have Wolves' best interest in mind. It's not about the person.
Yeah,
I'm sure Robert Edwards is a lovely bloke and he'd do everything for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But it works in any sort of case, mate. If someone's better at the job that you're currently doing, and you've got a chance to bring somebody in better, you're going to do it.
Well, next season as well, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Rob, because I have no doubt his ability and quality as a head coach would help us, but the squad on its own should be good enough to get us up next season in regards to either the players that we keep or the investment that we put in. Me and you could be in charge of that team, and we'd probably go and win the fucking lot, but that squad, Fosun need to set that squad up that they can literally win that league on their own without any guidance.
It's right, mate.
So it's still very difficult.
And I feel like a lot of teams that's what makes a good side. I reckon you see Pep doing a lot on the sideline, but realistically, I reckon he goes to them before the game. Lads, just you know what you're doing here, so. Just go and do it,
Well, you still remember Sir Alex, mate. He barely got. The only time he got off his seat was celebrating goal.
So
he's just
that's what quality managers do. They set them up in the week, and then it's down to the lads on the weekend to go and do the job. He can't score 3 or 4 goals for you. It's got to be you lot. So it does come a lot from the manager, mate. But I do agree that I think, me personally, If a top manager who I then knew in the Premier League would be good for us, I'd be buying the bullet, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there we go. Harry, it's been a blast, mate. Been a pleasure for you
No
jumping
worries,
back
mate.
on once again. Make sure to leave, obviously, Harry's tag will be on the screen if you want to go and check him out and drop him a follow. And as always, we're at Talking Wolves everywhere as well, guys. If you want to catch up and keep up to date with the latest Wolves news, be sure to hit that follow button everywhere. And if you're watching or listening on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please feel free to leave us a 5-star review. But it's about 10 days-ish next Monday before our next game. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your week. And up the Wolves.